Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Gather close, my friends. Tonight, we're not wandering into distant ruins, faraway castles, or storm-lashed seas. Instead, we're heading to Colorado, to a road that on the surface is nothing more than 11 miles of asphalt winding between Thornton and Brighton. A road framed by cottonwoods, farmland, and prairie stretches. A road that locals still drive every day. But Riverdale Road isn't just pavement. It's a place where history and legend blur together, where headlights reveal more than they should, where sounds carry farther than they have any right to. It's been called the most haunted road in America, and when you hear the stories, well, you just might find yourself gripping that wheel a little tighter the next time you take a lonely drive. Let's begin where most of the stories in Riverdale do, with fire. At the heart of Riverdale Road's lore stands the ruins of the Wolpert Mansion. Built in the 1800s, it was once a crown jewel for the stretch, a sprawling home at 9190 Riverdale Road with iron gates at its front, the kind of gates that look proud in the daylight but turn menacing under the moon. Over the years, the mansion became more than just a home. Depending on who you ask, it was a brothel, an inn, or even a horse ranch. It was a place people gathered, a landmark on the road. But everything changed when fire consumed it. The real history is simple. The house burned down, leaving behind blackened stone and twisted metal. Yet, as with all places touched by tragedy, the story didn't stop there. Whispers began that the owner went mad. They locked his family inside before striking the match. That their screams carried down the road as the fire took them. Others say he escaped into the woods, never to be seen again. His soul, now one more shadow that lingers near the gates. Whether any of this is true doesn't matter much anymore. The iron gates remain. Locals call them the gates of hell. Stand there on a windless night, they say, and you'll feel a weight, like the ground itself is trying to push you back. Some swear that they've seen shadow figures moving between the cottonwoods, or bodies swaying from invisible ropes. The air grows colder. Sometimes moaning arises on the breeze. Historians will tell you there's no proof. But tell that to the teenagers who parked near those gates, only to see handprints pressed against their fogging windows when no one else was there. The mansion is gone, but the story lives on, and the gates wait for anyone foolish enough to stop. Now, Riverdale Road doesn't just hold the ruins of a mansion. It holds its own collection of ghosts. Among the most famous of these is the Lady in White. Picture it. You're driving alone late at night. The road curves, trees leaning in close, your headlights catching glimpses of the branches swaying. And then you see her, a pale figure walking on the shoulder, always in white. Some describe her as dazed, as though she's lost. Others say she waves them down, a silent plea for help. A few even claim that she's barefoot, her dress tattered at the edges, dragging in the dirt. If you're brave, or unlucky enough to stop, she disappears. No door opens, no footsteps retreat, she's simply gone. And sometimes she doesn't wait for you to stop. There are reports of drivers glancing in their mirrors only to find her sitting in the back seat, silent, her eyes locked on the road ahead. A blink later and she's gone. Who is she? Some say a victim of the crash on Riverdale's blind curves. Others connect her to the mansion fire, a woman who never escaped the flames. Skeptics might laugh it off as a trick of headlights, exhaustion, or imagination. But those who have seen her don't laugh. They remember the icy grip of fear, the sense that they weren't alone, that something unnatural was sharing both the road and their vehicle. Perhaps the eeriest story is the Phantom Jogger. The legend begins with tragedy. A jogger running along Riverdale Road one night struck down by a car. Some say it was an accident, a hit and run, leaving the runner broken on the pavement. Either way, their life ended on that stretch of asphalt that night. But their footsteps, they say, those never stopped. If you park on the right stretch of Riverdale, cut your engine and wait. You may hear it. Tap, tap, tap. The sound of sneakers slapping against the road. At first, it's faint, far away. Then it grows louder, faster, and closing the distance. Some say the jogger runs straight up to your car, encircling it. Others claim the pounding turns into fists, hands slamming the doors and windows, demanding to be seen. There are stories of handprints left on the glass, oily smudges shaped like palms, even when no one was outside. The jogger never speaks, never appears in full view. Just footsteps that chase you, running toward a finish line they'll never reach. And if you're wondering, Yes, people have tried it. Groups of friends, skeptics with cameras, thrill seekers. Most have come away shaken, swearing they've heard the runner even if nothing appeared. A few say they've driven off in a panic, only to still hear the footsteps chasing them long after they left Riverdale behind. If that isn't enough, Riverdale Road has another legend that preys on drivers, the Phantom Camaro. It always begins the same way. You're driving late at night, the road quiet, when a car appears in your rearview mirror. A dark-colored Camaro, sometimes described as black, always with just one headlight working. It doesn't just follow, it hunts. The Camaro hugs your bumper, revving its engine, daring you to drive faster. If you speed up, it keeps pace. If you slow down, it rides you so closely you can feel your nervous fray. And then, without warning, it's gone. Not fading into the distance, not turning onto a side road, just gone. A story behind it says a young man once raced down Riverdale Road, testing his car against the curves. He never made it. The Camaro flipped and he died on that same stretch of road. Now his spirit is locked into that final loop, doomed to forever chase down new challengers, headlights burning through the dark. Some drivers refuse to go down Riverdale Road at night for fear of the Camaro. Others test the legend, and more than one has claimed they've seen it, felt it, right behind them. One moment, their mirrors fill with a glaring light. The next, nothing. Riverdale doesn't stop with phantom cars and ghosts. Sometimes it writes its warnings in red. Travelers report seeing traffic signs smeared with what looks like blood, handprints, streaks, and even messages like "Help me." At night, the stands look fresh, glistening in the beam of headlights, but when morning comes, the signs are clean. Then there are the cars. People park along the road, only to return and find handprints on their windows. Some describe them as adult size. Others swear they were smaller, like the hands of children pressing from the outside. It could be pranks, paint, condensation, but those who have seen it firsthand swear it felt different, like something wanted them to know, you are not alone here. If ghosts and phantom cars aren't enough, Riverdale Road carries darker stories. Near the gates of hell, locals speak of witches who once gathered beneath the cottonwoods. They say rituals were performed there, chants rising with the wind, curses sinking into the soil. Others whisper of bodies hanging from those same trees. The legends say they were slaves accused of witchcraft, strung up under the moon. Historians cast doubt. Colorado wasn't a slave state the way the South was, but the story still clings on, kept alive by fear. And then there are the animals. Coyotes are said to be guardians, warding travelers. But a gray fox? An evil shapeshifter. People tell of foxes that stare too long, their eyes glowing with something human. Of coyotes that appear out of nowhere, then vanish as if they've never been there. Some swear the animals of Riverdale aren't animals at all, but spirits wearing borrowed skins, watching travelers from the tree line. Why does Riverdale Road carry so many stories? Maybe it's the darkness. 11 miles of road with long stretches, unlit, sharp bends, blind corners. It's easy to get spooked, easier to crash, and easiest of all for these stories to take root. Maybe it's the history. The Wolpert Mansion fire seeding the tales of tragedy and evil. Teenagers passing these stories down, with each generation adding a new twist. Or maybe it's something deeper. Maybe Riverdale is one of those places where the veil between worlds is thinner, where tragedy leaves a permanent scar and spirits never move on. Whatever the reason, the road remains, and so do the legends. So if you ever find yourself near Thornton, Colorado, take the drive. 11 miles of shadow, silence, and stories. Maybe you'll just see a stretch of road under the stars. Or maybe, just maybe, you'll find yourself chased by footsteps, hunted by a one-eyed Camaro, or staring into the rearview mirror at a woman in white who wasn't there a moment ago.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.